Hello, and welcome to the Historical Museum of St. James-Assiniboia. My name is Jessica, and this is our third COVID-19 vaccine information session, funded by Protect MB. If you missed our previous two live information sessions, you can view the recordings on our Facebook page or our website. Just head to stjamesmuseum.com/vaccine-information-sessions, as seen below me here. Here at the Historical Museum of St. James-Assiniboia, we are happy to be presenting this information session on the COVID-19 vaccine to do our part to help protect our community. All the information you will see here today has been provided to us by the province of Manitoba through Protect MB, and you can find all the resources that we share here today at protectmb.ca. We encourage you to go online and visit protectmb.ca, where you can find resource videos in multiple languages, facts about the COVID-19 vaccine, frequently asked questions, and information on how you can book your appointment to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Currently, anyone born on or before December 31st, 2009 is eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. That's everyone 12 years and older, so be sure to head over to protectmb.ca, where you can learn how to book your appointment for yourself and for your children 12 and over. We understand that some of you may be hesitant to be vaccinated or to vaccinate your children. That is why today we're going to talk about some of the myths about the COVID-19 vaccine and share with you reliable facts so that you can feel confident helping your children 12 years and older to be vaccinated. Afterwards, we will have a fun activity for all the youth and families joining us today. We are going to start by sharing one video resource from protectmb.ca on vaccine information. I'm going to head directly over to protectmb.ca, where you can see at the top here under Vax Info is where they have all sorts of information, vax facts, questions and answers, and myths and facts about the COVID-19 vaccine. And now the video on vaccine misinformation.
Thanks for joining us. Today I'm here to talk to you about vaccine misinformation. What's vaccine misinformation, you ask? Well, do you remember what your Aunt Linda said on the family Zoom call on Thanksgiving?
Well, I read on the internet that the vaccines contain microchips that are injected into your body so the government can track you.
That's vaccine misinformation. They are myths that are spread around, usually online, about vaccines, and there are lots of them. So we brought in some experts to present the truth around some of the myths we've all heard. Let's have a look.
Well, I read the vaccines were rushed, so that makes them dangerous.
The process of the speed did not compromise at all safety. It was a reflection of the extraordinary scientific advances in these types of vaccines, which allowed us to do things in months that actually took years before.
Well, I heard the vaccine can make you sick and even give you the COVID.
This is a myth. All the components that go into vaccines are heavily tested to be sure that everything that is in there is safe for humans.
Dude, we already had coronavirus, so we don't need the vaccine. Boom!
In general, we are now recommending that people should get a vaccine regardless of the fact whether they've had a previous infection or not. Even if you've had a previous infection and you now get a vaccine, it acts like a booster and it boosts that immune response.
Thanks, doctors. But it seems no matter how hard we try, people are going to spread myths about the virus and the vaccine. So what can you do? Here's some advice from Canada's Chief Public Health Officer, Dr. Teresa Tam.
When you look at a piece of information, ask a number of questions, including exactly where this has come from. Is that domain name credible? Definitely ask yourself this question before you forward the information to someone else. So be media smart as well as science smart, if you like.
Thanks, Dr. Tam. But what about those microchips Aunt Linda mentioned?
There are no microchips in the vaccine.
Well, there you go, Aunt Linda. So remember, be media smart and science smart. Thanks for watching.
Now remember, on protectmb.ca, you can find tons more videos like this one that teach you all about vaccines and all the information you need. Now, we are going to share a couple more myths about the COVID-19 vaccine for the rest of this information session, and then head over to our activity. So the first myth is the COVID-19 vaccine will make me sick with COVID-19. Now, as you can see, this is a myth. The COVID-19 vaccines do not contain the live COVID-19 virus. This means the vaccines cannot make you sick with COVID-19. The vaccines teach your immune system how to recognize and fight the virus that causes COVID-19. Sometimes this causes a fever or other symptoms, and this simply means your body is building protections against the virus. For most people, these symptoms are mild and only last for a short time. It can take a week or two for your body to fully build immunity against the virus. It is possible to get COVID-19 after getting the vaccine if you are exposed to the virus before your body has fully developed immunity to the virus. Our next myth: COVID-19 is no worse than the seasonal flu. Now, this is not true. In fact, the facts are that COVID-19 has a mortality rate of 2.5% in Canada, making it 25 times more lethal than the flu. If left to spread unchecked, hospitals would be overrun and many more thousands of people would die. Social distancing measures and wearing masks to control the spread ensures that our medical systems can deliver care to all Manitobans. COVID-19 appears to be more contagious and spread more quickly than the flu. Severe illness, such as lung injury, is also more frequent with COVID-19 than with influenza. The flu can be treated with antiviral drugs. No antiviral drugs are currently approved and available to treat COVID-19. So those are some myths and facts about COVID-19 and the vaccines. And once again, you can find all of those facts at protectmb.ca. And now, as we move on to our activity for all of the youth and family joining us today. Today, we are going to make a felt bag craft that we call a keepsake pouch. This craft is inspired by the bags designed and used by the Métis people. According to the Métis Museum, the Métis originally called these fire bags or shot pouches because they were used to carry flint and steel, tobacco and pipes, or for ammunition. Pictured here, the Canadian Museum of History records that these bags used for carrying pipe tobacco and flint and steel were referred to as octopus pouches because of the 4 double tabs at the bottom. You can see in the design of these bags. The Louis Riel Institute describes the Métis people's gifts for clothing decoration and explains how we can see it in these bags. They were often very ornately decorated with beads and intricate patterns. Now, the craft that we are going to make today is a much simpler design. Here is an example of the final project that we will be making. Now, once you have your supplies ready, I'm going to turn it over to Anna, who is going to demonstrate this craft for you. But first, I'd like to thank you for joining us, and be sure to visit protectmb.ca for more information on the COVID-19 vaccine and how you can help protect yourself and your family. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a bag out of felt, how to thread it together. And so for this bag, you will need a piece of felt. The ones we're using are 16 by 23.5 centimeters. You could make the bag slightly larger or smaller, but if you have a craft kit from the museum, that's the size that we're using. And so when the bag is folded up like this, there is a flap that will be closing on the top, and then the bottom part that's folded forms the bag. So on the folded part, we have holes that go through 2 layers. You have 1, 2, 3 down one side, and 1, 2, 3 down the other side, and then 1, 2 in the middle. So those holes go through both layers of felt, and then we have 1 hole on the flap for the button and 1 hole in the middle for the button. And then I have a long piece of twine for threading the bag together. And then the rest of my supplies are sort of for decoration. So I have 2 smaller pieces of twine that I can hang beads on. I have a bead button, which is a piece of twine tied in a knot with a button on the end. I have some feathers, some extra beads, and some little felt shapes that I'm going to glue on for decoration. So if you're doing this at home and you want to be creative with your decorations and use different things or different shapes of felt, if you have buttons, if you wanted to sew on a button instead for your flap, that would work as well. So you can be creative with those parts, but I'll show you how I do what I have here. So the first step is to sew together your bag. So as I was saying, we need to fold up the bag so that the holes line up. So I'm going to take my piece of twine. It has some glue on the ends so that it's hard and it makes it easier to thread through. So I'm going to start on the bottom right corner, and I'm going to come from the front to the back through 2 holes and pull almost all the way through. And then on the next hole up, I'm going to go front to back again. And same with the next one, front to back. So now I have one side of the bag stitched up this way. Now my string is coming out of the back of the bag, and I'm going to bring it across the back and go through this next hole on the other side. So now my string is running across the back. And then I'm going to go down the other side. I'm going to go back to front on the next hole down, and back to front on the last one. Now I have some extra twine here, so if you would like, you can pull out, give a little more twine to the back, and this could be a way you could carry your bag if you like. You could carry it like that. So just this twine that we brought across the back, if we let it out a little, it'll be like that. So then with your ends that are hanging out here on the bottom, you could tie those in a knot so that they don't come undone, or if they just stay like that, that's fine too, or you could put a bead on it. But I'm going to tie them into a little knot. Next, I'm going to take my 2 small pieces of twine, and these I'm going to put through the 2 holes at the bottom. So I'm going to bring them back to front and put each through one side. So now I have them hanging from the front with the knots in the back. There we go, the knots in the back. And now for decoration, I can put something on these small pieces of twine. So I have some beads here. So I'm gonna thread maybe one of each color on each one. A white, a green, and a yellow. So they're gonna be hanging from the front of my bag like this. And then you can tie a knot on the end so that they don't fall off. So there are my beads hanging from the front. You could also choose to put on your short pieces of twine or on the side some feathers. You could just stick the feathers in some of the knots that you've tied and they could hang like that. Or you could glue or tie them to one of your other pieces of twine. And then next, I'm gonna attach my bead button. So to attach your bead button, hold onto the bead and stick your hand inside your bag and press the bead from the inside to the outside. So there, I've pushed the bead through. I can pull it out a little bit, but so the bead is on the outside and the knot is on the inside. And then when I want to close my bag, I fold down the flap and press the bead through the hole on the flap. So there, my bag is closed and the bead is through both holes. Now I'm going to add a little more decoration on the front of my bag. Again, you can be creative here, but I have some little felt triangles. I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue on the back of them and add them to the front of my bag. You could use hot glue or a glue stick. I like to use a paintbrush and some liquid glue. Kind of works pretty well. All right, so there's my finished bag. Yours could look different or the same. It's kind of up to you. So I hope you had a chance to be creative in making your felt bag.